I had married this girl in West Virginia. Ended up getting it annulled because I found out she was supposedly still married to somebody else. So I moved to Texas. She ends up moving down a couple months later. So stupidly, I just let her kind of keep hanging around. And it was probably about a year and a half later. And that's when she killed somebody.
Damn. What's up, y'all? This is the Grind and Prosper podcast. So I'm here with Fat Joe, Mexican OT, and the incredible Mr. David Brooks. So all right, say nice to have you here again. He said we're back at it. I said, what did you come to say today? He said, what's the word?
I mean, we can pick up where we left off last time.
Let's pick up where we left off. We actually left off talking about your wife being in prison at the moment for
what had happened. And I wouldn't even necessarily say my wife, but I had married this girl in West Virginia. I met her there and ended up getting it annulled because I found out she was supposedly still married to somebody else. Yeah. I don't even know if that was a fact, but I just used that as a reason to get call it off.
Yeah.
So I moved to Texas. She ends up moving down a couple months later, and I didn't know anybody down here. I'm living in Dallas. I'm by myself. So stupidly, I just let her kind of keep hanging around. And I'd say it was probably about a year and a half later, and that's when she killed somebody.
Damn.
And what happened with that is I'm going to chiropractic school, and she's working at a strip club there in Dallas, Lipstick, and she meets some customer. Apparently, he's telling her he's got a bunch of money. He's got it all in a safe at the house. And for whatever crazy reason, she decided it'd be a good idea to go over there and kill him. And I guess she thought she was going to steal all his money or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't in on any of the planning.
Yeah.
But anyhow, she ends up stealing a pistol from my house, taking my vehicle while I'm at work, going over there, killing the guy, leaving, using his debit card to buy gas, a 6-pack of beer. So she immediately puts herself on camera, leaving the scene.
damn 6-pack of beer.
Yeah, like an idiot.
That's it? No.
And
This was after
she kills him.
to take the edge off.
I guess. I don't know. But,
I think someone would need more like a case of beer. Not
yeah,
a 6-pack.
anyway, I'd gone to work that night. I was working at Champs Americana in Dallas at the time. And I got a ride home because that was about a mile and a half from where I lived. And she shows up later. She gets there. She's got a little bit of blood on her face. And I'm like, what the fuck were you doing? Yeah. You know, I asked her, I was like, you got a little bit of blood. You gonna fight with somebody? Or like, what the fuck? Oh, I don't know. You know, she's acting all weird. She doesn't say nothing else. Takes her clothes off, throws them like in the washer. Doesn't turn it on though. Goes, takes a shower, comes back out. Business as usual. She's not acting like anything. Yeah. The next day, she gets up real early and goes and gets a newspaper. This is in 2001. Okay, so people still look at the newspaper. Yeah. There's no internet or anything going on, you know. So anyway, she goes and gets a paper. Really fucking weird. She never went and got a paper and was like looking through it, you know. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is she doing?
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, the next day, here they come. It's a Plano, you know, crime scene unit, the Plano, you know, detectives. They're down in Dallas to pick her up. We lived in Irving at the time, or I lived there, and she would just kind of come in and out.
Yeah.
But anyway, they show up. They want to talk to her. They take her outside. I never see her again for like a month. Anyway, finally they come back and tell me we're waiting. We want to go through the apartment. We're just waiting on a judge to issue the papers, you know, so we can do that. Yeah. And they start asking me questions. They're asking me like, do you own any guns? You know, where has she been? Where have you been? All this kind of stuff. And I'm being totally honest with them. At the time I have no idea. I'm assuming she like stole something. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking, hey, I bet you killed somebody. Yeah. You know, I'm not even thinking like that. So anyway, they finally end up after probably like 3 hours of asking me questions, kind of on and off. They would like ask me something, let me go sit back down on the couch and just kind of chill while they're waiting. Finally, they get me out there and they tell me, hey, you're not going to believe this, but do you know this guy's name? They tell me the guy's name. I'm like, no, I don't know who that is. They're like, well, we think she killed this guy. And I'm just like,
What?
I'm blown away. I'd be fucking tripping.
You know,
What
then
the
they're
fuck?
asking me, hey, do you own this kind of gun? And I'm like, yeah, I've got that gun. And I tell them it should be, in my house in the closet, and there's a shoebox that has like 2 or 3 pistols besides like the one by the nightstand. That's it. That's all the guns that are up there. They're like, well, that's not up there. The shoebox isn't up there. Those guns aren't up there. And then I'm thinking, okay, she took my gun, and apparently her and someone else did this.
Yeah.
I'm still not thinking, I bet she killed somebody. You know what I mean? It just
She probably loaned it out.
Yeah, well, this chick's not violent, though. Or at least she wasn't until this.
That's what I was going to ask you.
I mean, like,
Did
she
you
wasn't
think-
a fighter. She wasn't a shit talker. I mean, she was just like a slut, and she loved to do coke. But, I mean, she wasn't,
Maybe it was
you know
the
what I'm saying? But
cocaine.
she wasn't like, wild and
Not a
crazy
violent-
and out fighting everybody. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like somebody you would have thought, I bet she killed somebody.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't think that. But,
So that was the last option.
yeah, well, anyway, though, they end up telling me that she did this. They let me go on back in my apartment. They tell me we found a bunch of stuff. They want to ask me about it. They found like directions to this guy's apartment and a
Damn.
piece of aluminum like shoved up in the stove. And I'm thinking, what the like how fucking stupid do you got to be?
Hey, this is before
To-
maps, y'all.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
it was like
yeah.
MapQuest, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was
this is
probably-
like something out of a movie where she's just leaving clues all over the apartment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like they asked me about what she had on that night, and I tell them, and I told them that she threw the stuff in the washer and didn't even wash it. So apparently they get it out, and then
Damn.
later they find like blood, gunshot residue, the whole deal on it. I mean, they've just got her dead to right.
Man, what the fuck?
You
Was
know.
she like fucking sick or something? She was trying to keep relics. She's trying
And
to hide them.
I don't think she was just in her right mind. You know what I'm saying? I
That
mean, she was just
cocaine.
out there, but.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I went and talked to her when she was at Tarrant County, awaiting trial. I went up there a couple times. I could never get her to tell me like what happened.
Yeah, because she was still trying to
Not
beat
what
the
happened
case.
because I knew she killed the guy. Not details of the crime, but like what the fuck were you thinking? That you somehow thought you were going to do this and get away with it.
Did she admit to it right away?
Nah, I mean, even at the hearing, I had to go testify against her. And even at the
Damn.
hearing, she was denying doing it. But I mean, they had so much evidence, there was, it didn't matter if she denied it.
So how much time she get?
I want to say she got it was either 50 or 60 years.
Damn.
50 or 60 years?
Yeah, it was a big, long sentence.
Do you know she needs a pimp out for any guys out there watching?
Probably,
You know,
she's
this is
a talker.
Wichita, man. You know how guys are here, man.
Yeah.
He said she's a good one. Did she get a lawyer at least? Or did she have a court appointed?
Yeah, they gave her one.
Mm.
Well, like when she robbed this guy, she only got like $1,800. And I know this because when the police are searching, they find the money in the hood of a sweatshirt in my closet. But since they couldn't prove it was this guy's money, and I think because I was being so cooperative, they told me I could keep the money.
Hell yeah, they're like,
Because I was like shocked when they did that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I guess that was kind of their way of
Hey.
like, here's a little
Hey,
something
he was
for
like,
you,
he's like,
buddy.
it's not mine,
Just
I swear. And they go,
keep telling us what we want to hear. You know what I mean? That's the
Would you-
vibe I got.
would
I mean,
you-
I was just being honest though. I wasn't about to get implicated in this crime when I had no knowledge of it.
didn't do shit.
I mean, yeah, it would have been different if she'd have ran this by me and been like, hey, I'm thinking about robbing this guy. You know, and at least giving me a chance to be like, that sounds fucking dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well-
no, she didn't run nothing by me. Just took my gun, took my vehicle. Thank God I was at work.
That was her way of fucking finally getting away from her. That's all she was like.
She went.
Hell, but what if she got scared and the gun was loaded and shot him and she was like, it's too late. It could have been even that too. Like, fuck.
From what they said, apparently she had got this guy to lay face down on the bed, like she was going to give him a massage or something. I guess he was naked. He's on the bed face down, and then I guess she goes and gets in like a bag or something and gets the gun out and just pops him in the back of the head twice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
man, what if
Then
she's probably about to do butt stuff with them?
So them letting you keep the money, you think that's white privilege? Think that
No, I think it's police corruption.
a little bit of both? Yeah, I feel that.
And for all I know, they found $38,000 in that sweatshirt and gave
Hell
me
yeah,
18.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Hell yeah.
You know, let's not
Just
get
give 'em a
carried
little-
away here.
They said there's a tip. They said don't say nothing about this.
No, I really think I could tell they were really happy. I wasn't just going, like I don't know.
Probably thought you were Bonnie and Clyde.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they came there thinking, hey, this guy might be implicated because the vehicle had West Virginia tags on it because I had just moved to Texas when this happened. And, a vehicle in Plano with West Virginia tags, there's not going to
But
be
you
that
said
many
she was
of them.
from there. She was from West Virginia.
She was from West Virginia. Her parents had moved to Lubbock. So she had been to Texas a few times ahead of me moving down here. And then she acted like she was going to come move in with her parents and basically just came to Dallas and was kind of like bouncing in and out of my place
Yeah.
while I was going to school.
Yeah.
And stupidly, I let her do that, even though, I mean, she was a huge red flag, but I just let her do it because I didn't know anybody really, and it was just easy.
What are the red flags? That's what about girls. What are the red flags? What did you see in her? What was it? Come
Oh,
on.
man, I mean, you could tell this chick was just a pathological liar.
Okay, that's
I knew
one.
she was a drug addict.
This is two.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't have custody of her kids.
Say-
I mean, you know, there
That's
was just,
number one flag right there.
Hey, yeah, I say that was the one. Hey, let me go like that.
I could tell the relationship she had with her parents. She was the fucking problem.
Oh, she
you know
talked
what I'm
shit to her
saying? I mean, there
parents.
was just, well, she's got two other sisters. They're in good graces with her folks. She's the one on the out. You know
And
what
she
I'm saying?
told you
But
they
I
were the
mean,
problem.
yeah, but-
He said, I believed her at first.
Nah, well, I mean, this is the thing. Anytime you meet somebody and you don't know them, you have a tendency to kind of listen to them at first and not just be like, bullshit. You know, I mean, depending on the circumstances you meet. If I meet them at the club, I'm not thinking, hey, let me believe everything you tell me. But if you meet somebody in a different setting and you don't obviously see a reason they would lie to you, then you'll tend to listen to them at first, and then stuff will start tripping it up, and you'll realize.
Yeah,
it's
you
What
always
was-
give someone.
what
You'll
was the
realize,
history
yeah, you
with-
want- you
what was
can't
the
just
history,
think
though?
everybody's lying every time.
Yeah.
With this girl, say, was she like a high school sweetheart or something? Or
What it was, I had gotten kicked out of medical school.
okay,
Okay, and I had moved to Charleston, West Virginia, and I was there I was working and going to college at the time. I was thinking about finishing my degree, and I decided just to move to Texas and go to chiropractic school. That's how I ended up in Dallas. That's how I moved from West Virginia to Dallas. Is I was going to go to chiropractic school, and I went down there and I did that for maybe a year, and that's when I got a job at the $1 Million Saloon, and I decided I would just do the strip club stuff instead of being a chiropractor because I hated it.
So is that when you got all your tattoos when you got into the strip club business?
Once I was in the strip clubs, I realized, hey,
This is my life.
yeah, and I won't lie. I mean, there was a dude that I was working with down in Dallas that was a piece of shit. But this dude was covered in tattoos, and every chick there was just like drooling over this guy. And I'm like, fuck, why do I not have a bunch of tattoos? What the fuck?
Yeah.
he's
I
like,
mean,
what's my problem?
I'm an outlaw now. I'm in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of how I decided I'd go ahead and start getting a bunch of tattoos.
Yeah, nice.
So do all your tattoos have meaning to them?
Really, none of them.
Hey, at least you're honest.
I mean,
At least you're honest. I love that. I don't know if you be like, yeah.
the biggest bunch of shit. This means this, and this means that. This is a dream I had. No, man. Listen, what I did is when I first got a few tattoos, I was like, this is back early 2000s. I was like, yeah, that's cool, because used to you go in the shop, there was no internet.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you're just picking shit off
Off
the
their,
wall.
yep, true.
It's all flash.
Their follow
So
albums
yeah,
and
you're
stuff.
just picking something kind of cool you hadn't seen on somebody else.
Yeah.
Is really what I was doing. And then once I had a few, then it was kind of like, well, I probably ought to just go ahead and get sleeves. Because you got to realize too, in the early 2000s, everybody wasn't sleeved out. You
Correct.
know what I'm saying? That was like out there to be doing that.
Yeah.
You saw a few people, but not a lot.
Yeah, you were an outlaw if you.
Yeah, back, I mean,
yeah.
at that time. I mean, you know, you got to realize that's 20 some years ago.
Correct.
Everybody's looking at you like, damn. what
Yeah,
the
now it's
hell is
common. You see people all the time that are sleeved out, face
yeah.
tattoos, the whole deal. But
Guys,
Even nurses,
girls,
yeah, I see a lot of nurses.
girls
Yeah.
all tatted up on their necks and shit.
yeah.
I said, I don't mind. I said, clean needles.
It's
Yeah.
just like
So-
today. I seen a video where it was an old video of NWO with Hulk Hogan and them.
Man.
And they come out with the Hell's Angels.
Damn.
Now on it was a WCW Nitro, I think. They come out and they circle and on their bikes and shit. And to think about, that's what they're saying. Like, man, kids don't even know about this back in the day. And I'm like, damn, back in the day we were watching that and the Hell's Angels. You know what they were,
Well, it's funny.
what
man.
their persona is.
I had a dude tell me in the strip clubs back in like the 80s and early 90s that that was the era of like the long-haired white guy. All the like rocker looking dudes were coming in the club, and that's who was like banging all the chicks.
Yeah.
And
The
then that
hoes.
hip hop switched all that. Then all of a sudden, every chick there is banging some black dude that's a rapper or wannabe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the whole
Rock
dynamic
stars
just
Or a
changed.
trapper.
To rappers.
Straight up.
Yeah,
That's what happened.
Rappers and trappers.
yeah. But, I mean, it's still, if you look at it, that's pretty much the
The same.
Yeah, the genre of just this.
what's cool and what's
the
you
culture,
know
yeah.
that guy.
They want to fuck a Mexican singer too sometimes.
Like, David, don't see the
hear that much. I don't hear that much.
He said, they're like Bad Bunny.
That's mostly dudes saying that.
He's right though. Shit.
Oh, shit. Keep, you don't
Yeah.
point them fingers.
So do you think Do you think for the people that don't know you're a club owner, do you think once they figure it out, do they treat you different? Do you ever feel
absolutely.
you get treated different
Absolutely.
once they know you're a strip club owner?
And I'll be honest with you, I feel like I really get that with females the worst. Because it's funny because when I'm at the club, I always joke around, the busier it is, the better looking I am. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I mean, I feel like when that
I said,
motherfucker
"Damn
is like
daddy,"
a
one
line
time,
around
too.
the building, every chick there is very friendly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and I mean, I get that. I mean, they want to see if they can get in free. It's chicks that might want to work there sometime as a bartender or waitress. I mean, it's just everybody's always got an angle.
Correct,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
for sure.
saying? And I feel like a lot of dudes, I don't really feel like I get a lot of them that just suck up to me.
I came
but I
on
get
a
guys
couple
that come
times.
around and they want to be cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think people like feeling like, hey, I know the owner.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
they like that.
yeah.
Especially in a small town like this where everybody knows everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They like to be able to name drop. Like, yeah, I know him.
That's my favorite thing to say when I'm drunk.
Yeah. I've had you used to try to drop Daniel's name, and I'd be like, what?
He said,
Daniel?
that fat motherfucker. He said, he's definitely not getting you in.
Yeah, I was like, who? I don't give a fuck if
Hey.
you said that.
I still got in.
So how do you deal with how do you balance your? Because we know we've been through a couple marriages or relationships since you've been here.
Man,
so how do you balance?
I'll be honest
that
with
life?
you. When I decided to do the strip club thing, I basically sold my soul. And I didn't intentionally do that, but that's what happened because every female outside of that world that sees me is just like, no fucking way. Because they all just have an idea in their mind. They don't look at me like, yeah, that's a small business owner. He's a father and he's a good guy.
Yeah.
That's the last shit they think. They're thinking,
for sure.
look at this fucking dude with the tattoos and he owns that club and you know,
Like
and
he has 10 girls on a leash.
He's probably fucking
they
all
just
those
assume-
girls.
Listen, everybody always thinks I want to screw all these dancers.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you're around those girls, that's the last thing you want. You know? I'm telling you, if you're around them every day, first off, you know them too well, and you know all their dirt and all their stuff, and you're not sitting there thinking, man, if I could just have you in my life, that's what I
one
want.
chance.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm just telling
And
you.
nothing
that's-
against them personally.
It's not a
yeah.
personal thing.
Yeah,
It just
for
is
sure.
what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, what you're into, the type of guy you are. I mean, for everyone that knows you, knows that they ain't never seen you to be that type of.
And then they're probably like,
dude.
fuck.
No, man. I mean,
They're like,
I'm not
David's
in
here.
there drinking.
Yeah, you're not a grimy ass dude.
No, but this is the thing. I'm not in there drinking. I'm not in there fucked up on drugs. I'm not in there
Correct.
doing it. I'm all business in there.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, in this club, I have to be. If I owned a club in Dallas, I could probably be that grimy guy
Yeah.
because I'd be making so much money and I wouldn't even have to be doing
Take
all this
care of
shit.
it, yeah,
But
sure.
I've actually got to run this place.
Correct.
You know, so that really puts a big damper on me deciding, hey, I think I'll get drunk tonight or I'm going to go sit over here at a table and play with her. You know,
Yeah.
that's not even like a thought going through my mind.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure everyone knows that when they go in there, they ain't never seen you with just
Yeah.
over there talking with the girl at the
But
table. Like, yeah, you're
as far
always
as you're
business.
asking,
He looks like his own bouncer.
no, but like as far as the females though, like even like in recent relationships, everybody I meet, they know I own this club, and they're always like, "Oh, that's okay, that's okay." We start dating, and about 6 months into it, you own a strip club? Oh my God! You know, it's like that happens. It's like they have that moment where it's like it hits them that that's what I'm doing, and I know every slutty female in town either because she's worked there or she's a customer, and it like bothers them and. Man, it puts a lot of stress on my relationships. Like even my current relationship, I know it really drives Caitlin like crazy that I do this. I know these people, and I mean, I feel bad, but that's what I was doing when you met me, and
For sure.
it's not
for
like
sure.
I quit my good job and just went and did this stuff.
Hell yeah. He said I could have been a veterinarian.
And like I said, I mean,
Well, I was almost a doctor.
or
that wasn't meant to
chiropractor.
be. So
Or it could be a chiropractor giving these girls
He
massages.
said
you know?
gynecologist.
no, it's funny. I was actually going to be a psychiatrist. That's what I had gone to school, gone to undergrad, then got into medical school, got in trouble there, got kicked out. Then I was kind of weighing my options. I moved to Dallas to be a chiropractor because that's kind of like a notch down from a regular doctor. I got down there, and they were given. This is funny. At the school, they were given like bringing these self-help guys in like to basically motivate us to be chiropractors.
What the hell?
And I'm thinking, bro, at med school, nobody ever one time was in there like, hey, you can do this. You can make it as a doctor. But at chiropractic school, it's like they're having life coaches in there like trying to sell you a dream. Like, hey, you really can be successful when you get out, I swear. And
Because
I'm thinking,
it's not like accepted all the way like in the medical community, right?
what it is, medical schools have a set number of spots. No matter what medical school in the country you go to, they might have 60 spots, 120 spots, but that's how many people they take each year. Chiropractic school will take as many people as pay the money.
Oh shit.
In Dallas, I was in class with I was 200 and some people.
Oh, damn.
The next year, the next class behind me, and there's a class every 3 months. The class behind me was like bigger than that. I mean, just as many people as they could get to show up and pay. That's how many they were taking. And they just churn out way too many people. So when you do that, you flood. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough doctors retiring for somebody to come in and take that spot. And you just get a lot of guys then doing shady shit because they have to out of necessity.
Hell yeah.
Or like my brother. My brother actually ended up going to chiropractic school. He did that because his now ex-wife couldn't get into any other school. So he ended up basically going to school with her. He could have done anything he wanted. He's really, really intelligent, done really well. Yeah. And he went to chiropractic school, tried to, basically he did chiropractic for about a year, and then he opened a bunch of weight loss clinics, and now he's a millionaire. He owns like 6 weight loss clinics in like 3 states.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's crazy. How long have you been doing that for?
I guess now probably about 15 years.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah, he's doing well.
deep.
Yeah, he's doing real well.
How many siblings you got?
I'm sorry.
Siblings. How many
Oh,
siblings
just
you
him.
got?
Just him. He's younger than he's 7 years younger.
Hell yeah, lucky. No, I'm just saying. I fucking grow with all of us with shitload of.
It's
brothers
funny,
and
man. My
sisters.
family's small like that. Like, I don't have very many first cousins or anything. Like, both my grandmas had a bunch of like siblings, but like everybody else in the family has like 1 or 2 kids.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, probably didn't like sharing.
Both my grandmas.
Y'all
It's
fans got
funny.
like a bunch
Both my
fucking-
grandmas had like 9, 10. I forget how many it was. Like siblings, and they both were like traumatized by that. Like basically growing up, like I guess during the Great Depression and that many
Yeah.
kids, and I mean it was just tough, and they always felt like their mom liked one of the kids better. I mean, I feel like being big families like that, it's a whole different
That's
like
true.
growing experience than some kid that had like maybe a brother or sister
Yeah.
or was an only child. I mean, it's just totally different.
Everybody put into work like, hey, this one working more than this one, or this one. Hey, you tell them to go do this, and so.
Well, I mean, it's
once,
just going to be
you know,
different, though. You got that many siblings. I don't give a shit what your dad's job is. Shit's going to be different.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't feed 11, 12 people
Ask
the
this
same
guy.
way you can 3 people.
This guy
Not
don't know.
easy. It's not easy.
I mean,
So
he's
I
still,
got a lot of them.
6,
he's still counting.
7?
Yeah, 6 and counting.
Well, I've got 3, and then the girl I'm with has 3.
Look, what's
Okay.
life like outside of the strip club? Like, it's okay, you go damn near every day, right? Pretty much.
I mean, I'm there 5 days a week. I used to be there 6.
See, and that's your business.
But I feel like I'm never off. I
Yeah.
mean, really.
Yeah.
And I do like all day long. I have to run errands.
and then
that are
kids
about the
too.
club.
That's what I'm saying.
No, like when
how do
they're
you
out of
explain to
school,
them?
I've got them up there with me.
How do you explain to them? When is the first time you told them?
I mean, I feel like, well, my kids, both their moms had danced. And they're kind of aware of that. And I feel like I never really had to walk them in there and be like, hey, this is what's going on. I feel like they just kind of knew. Didn't really ask, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't push that at them. I didn't, try to like glamorize it in any way. But, they've all been in the club with me, like in the daytime and stuff.
Yeah.
So would you say that you have a type? You said they were both dancers. Were they from separate moms or the same?
Separate.
So you got a type.
There's no type. Well, I think what it is, once
It's a
I got
dance-
into this industry,
Hey.
I pretty much ruled out all other regular chicks.
Oh, they
You know
were
what I'm
after,
saying?
yeah.
And like the last couple I've dated, I tried to reach outside. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. But
Yeah, they'd be the only ones to not get jealous or anything like that.
but I mean, they're all upset with it. No, I don't think any
Girls are
female
jealous.
likes thinking a guy's got a job where he's around a bunch of slutty females
Yeah.
and everybody's drunk
Yeah.
except him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's
He
just,
said you're the smartest
Yeah.
one there.
listen, I am sober by necessity. I have to be. I have to babysit everybody there and what's going on. And there's no possible way I could do like some of these owners here in town and just sit there drunk
Yeah.
and let that chaos just
Cops
around
walk
me.
in,
Yeah.
or
I mean, some
T-
nights it's really tough there when I'm sober. I cannot imagine being fucked up and trying to run the place.
No, I couldn't do that. I could never run a bar. So one, because I drink too much.
Well, you got to be disciplined.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like anything.
And
you
then
know?
just dumb drunk people. Being sober with dumb drunk people, I couldn't do that.
It takes a certain mindset to deal with that. And I'm so used to doing it because I'm always sober And I really try to give drunk people a lot of leeway because I look at it like I just sold you alcohol. I can't just immediately get mad at you because you're drunk.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's really fucked up. You can't do that to somebody. And I have to explain that a lot of times to people that work for me. Like, hey, we're selling them alcohol. You know,
They came here to have fun.
Yeah, we can't get mad that they're drunk. That's going to
Yeah,
happen.
that's what they came to do.
Yeah.
Shit. See some titties and get drunk.
Man, that's crazy. But it got to be different though in a small town. 'Cause you got to see the same ass people all
It
the
is
time.
really different. I'll tell you what's different. In Dallas, at the clubs, it was always different people coming in. I mean, we had some regulars, but I would say 90% of the crowd was different people. You know what I mean? Here, I have so many of the same people, and I feel like a lot of them come to see each other. They could care less if I even have dancers. I mean, it's a different vibe
Look,
here.
do you think that they run off? Okay, look, like out of town, I say if I go out of town, I'm just going to check out a place because I heard about it before. Do you feel like the local people here, they go there so much that people from out of town, when they do come just to check it out, that they run them off?
Sometimes,
They're
not
like weirdos.
not everybody, but I mean, I think there's an us and them mentality to
Yeah.
it, and where there's so many people, like say in my club, that know each other. It's very easy for all of them together to make somebody else feel excluded or feel like, hey, we don't know you. Who are you? And it's funny because I get so many people in my club that'll want to come and ask me, hey, is that guy a cop? And I'm thinking, well, I don't fucking know. I'm like, if you're worried he's a cop, how about this? Don't try to sell him any drugs and don't offer to sell him any pussy. You know, I mean, I tell the dancers that, and then I'll tell the customers don't try to sell. I mean, like, what the fuck?
So
You
what I
know,
would
like,
do,
if you're worried he's a cop, that's the two things you don't need to do.
I'd hit
Otherwise,
on
just
him.
talk to the fucker or whatever. You know, leave him alone.
I'd hit on him. I'd test him first. I'd start rubbing up on him and see if he's like that. That's
Hey,
how
now
I know.
listen. When I worked in Dallas, the undercover cops could basically do any fucking thing. They could sit there and lie to you. They could tell you anything they wanted. They could let you touch on them. All this like fallacy and myth that there is that, oh, if that's a cop, they can't do this and this. Bullshit. If they're undercover, they are undercover.
They can't vote.
can fucking say or do any fucking thing. And they will not hold it against them later when it comes out.
Yeah.
Though they're hitting bumps and shit. Like,
So-
yeah, girl. Yeah. And then fucking.
Hey, yeah, I mean,
real shit.
seriously
You ain't
though.
lying.
Seriously, they'll do that
believe
kind of
it.
shit and just be like, "What?" And then later they'll just take that out of the fucking testimony and be like, "No,
I
I
wasn't
didn't
do
do
it. You
that.
fucking
We didn't do
stupid.
that."
He goes, that's a lie. He said, that's not a credible witness. Yeah. So you've already done this pretty much for a lifelong career. So nothing
I
else.
committed to this, man. I really did. I mean, when I got into it and I decided I wanted to own my own club, that was pretty much it. And then I came up here, and then after you're in this so long, it's like I'm 52 years old. What am I gonna do now? I'm in this.
You feel like you're going to pass it down?
That's a tough call, man. I don't even know if the strip club industry is going to survive 20 years from now.
What's the future of it?
It's all going to the internet, man.
Internet.
I mean, it's all,
That sounds like what Pimp
somebody's
C
going to be
said.
laying at the house with some goggles on, feeling around on some big chick.
Hey, you need to start a VR strip club.
Seriously,
There we go.
Hey, you're smart.
that's where it's going. Though. That is where it's going. Because listen, think about how during COVID people changed. So many people quit going out and just said, "Hey, not only am I not going to go out, I'm going to have my food delivered here.
Yep.
I mean,
drinks
everything I
delivered."
can do to just set my ass at this house and not leave and just pay with stuff with a credit card on the internet. I'm just going to sit here." And I mean, it's going that direction until finally people are just going to be like, "I'm not even going to go out and look for pussy. I'm just going to stay right here at the fucking
Man.
house and put my goggles on and
Hey, all you'd have to do is just have the girls come in one time, record, say some nasty shit, move around a little bit, do some moves, and just save it.
I don't know. But between that and going to a cashless society,
Yeah.
the cashless society thing's going to be a fucking crippler for the strip clubs too.
Oh, damn. I didn't even think about that. He said,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
going to throw some
there's just
Bitcoin
a
at
lot
you,
of
baby.
things that I see coming down the road in the next 15 years that I definitely think they're not going to be friendly to me.
Damn. Yeah,
Man,
that's true,
you got to
though.
figure it out. So
You just got to jump on that wave
Yeah.
with it,
I'm going to be about 75 by then, and it's going to be time for me to jump off the wagon.
Hey, gonna be like, all right, I'm chilling.
He's going to
Yeah,
be like
but
this,
as far
start
as
smoking
like
cigars.
leaving this to somebody else, that's tough to say. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, if there is
because-
anything, one of my kids might want to fool with it. One of Caitlin's, her son might want to. I don't know.
Oh
but,
damn! I thought you were gonna say Daniel. Damn. Sorry, Daniel.
Daniel
Sorry,
already
Daniel.
retired. He's driving trucks now. So
He said he's dealing with the lot lizards now.
yeah, exactly.
That's fucked up.
I think of him and Chester all the time doing that.
Hey, ain't that funny? Hey, so, man, I said, Motherfuckers just go become truck drivers and shit. I said, man, so y'all better watch out. I said, y'all better not come back 500 pounds.
That was caught, they probably always caught each other on the road.
Hell yeah, that's what I
Hey,
said.
It's funny, man. I went to high school with a dude who used to be like in really good shape, really, thin, played football and stuff. I hadn't seen this guy in like 30 years. He comes by the club because he's driving on the West Coast and he just decides to stop by. This dude's huge now. I couldn't believe how big he got. And I'm sure it's just from driving that truck.
Yeah.
Eating bad food.
Yeah, you're just sedentary. You just sit in that seat for hours and hours and hours. You don't even get up and walk anywhere. You're just sitting there.
Are you a traveling person? You like to travel?
I mean,
or-
I travel to Austin every 2 weeks to
Oh
see my
man,
kids.
fuck that. Hey, no, I don't like traveling. I go to Fort Worth to go get my daughter, but I hate that drive.
But as far as actually vacations and stuff,
Yeah.
man, used to every now and then I go and do a little bit, but the club and where it really is just me running it, I'm just kind of tied to it, and it's tough for me to be gone. Like this last year, I went to Padre a couple times, some stuff like that, but I mean nothing crazy.
Yeah. Nobody trustworthy, to
Yeah.
run the business while you're gone there.
Hell no.
Oh, Daniel's son left. Bolo left. Man.
He said,
When did I ever trust Bowler?
hey, he said, what I tell you about pitching wool on the job?
Speaking of Bolo, he hit me up this morning and he told me, he's like, yeah, man, I seen a telephone pole laying down and I thought of you. And he's just laughing his ass off. And we started laughing. We talked about it. He's like, yeah, man, you remember that night when you called me and you told me to go pick you up? I was like, hell yeah, I remember. It was like it was me and Joey.
Yeah.
So like,
Bolo's something else, man. He told one of his exes he got gonorrhea from a toilet seat at my club.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You're a
What's sad
bad
is I think she
motherfucker.
believed it. That was what was amazing.
Yeah, that is
Hey,
crazy.
his shit must touch the water.
Bolo, is that true?
He said, you know how it goes, man. He said, fucking touch the fucking water. He said, fucking dirty ass people in there, man. He said, you wouldn't believe it.
You wouldn't believe it, baby.
Yeah. Man, hey, that sounds like that movie. He's like, yeah. He's like, my wife got gonorrhea from sitting on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Anyways,
He said, anyway. Look, shut the hell up.
Big hungry over there.
Damn, buddy.
only got 2 tacos.
Hey, so what do you say? Who lives in Austin now? Say, which wife is that?
Oh, that's I guess it would be the second wife. That was the one I had 2 kids with. I've got 2 daughters.
What's
down
been
there.
all the deal breakers for all of them? That just breaks it apart? Is it the club?
I think me owning the club plays into it, but I think on their end, some of the things that got them into dancing in the first place are also issues that have haunted them their entire adult life.
Man, I feel like that's what happened with me
that's
and
a
girls.
very nice way
traumatized.
for me
Man,
to
you
say
know
mental
what?
illness.
You're too nice of a guy. That's what it is. Like, that's what happens to
He's
me.
like-
Say, I get all these crazy girls and stuff. I said, I'm just so nice and too cool. And they just end up just being crazy as hell like that, like how you're saying.
You know what, though, man?
I said, that's the
mean,
type.
If you really think about it, outside of like people that are like going to church all the time, do you know a lot of people that have stable relationships? Because I don't. I'm not
not
talking
they
like
lie.
our parents' generation and stuff. I'm talking like our age or close. And man, younger day, it's just not set up now to be together.
Yeah,
I feel
just-
like with
yeah.
social media,
Yeah, that's what.
Hell,
and
even
just the whole mindset. I mean, there's no repercussion to anything. Like used to, like say in my mom's day, my grandma's day, if they had a kid and weren't married, everybody in the community was like, "What's going
what the
on?"
fuck?
And now it's like, "Yeah, hey, good job with all 5 of them. I bet you
Fuck
get a lot
yeah.
of money from their baby dads." I mean, it's a different.
Yeah,
Yep.
we talked about that lightly last week, I think, about how these days it's too common where kids are being raised by single mothers or
Listen.
even fathers.
If the single mom actually picked well, and she's got a couple of dudes that have good jobs and they're having to pay her money, she's living great. Now, on the flip side of that, if you got some chick that picks a loser every time, and he's, one time he dropped off a pair of tennis shoes when his kid was 3 years old. I mean, if you got that guy, you're not living great. But if you, some of these other ones, I mean, you could just basically, that's your lifestyle. I mean, you can just live off that, like you have a good job.
Yeah, that's what I said.
yeah.
Hey,
Good
but
hustle.
you know what? Fuck that. That's why, guys, work for yourself. Because no one will ever live off your back.
Well, if you really think about it now, there's really not a lot to win getting married as a dude now.
No, hell no.
I mean,
don't-
we're used to, everything was set up to where there was a family unit, everybody depended on everybody. And now, man, society has just crushed that. And they try to tell you, you don't need a dad. It's okay if your mom does OnlyFans. It's okay if you just stay on your tablet the whole time as a kid. I mean, there's so many things that like used to be like weird, and now it's just like totally
taboo.
regular.
Yeah.
Like nobody even questions it or acts like it's a problem.
Yeah,
you
actually,
know?
you're the weirdo or the problem when you question it.
Yeah, the fact that you're bringing it up, it's like, okay, boomer.
Yeah.
You know, but like, no, it's just, this is what held society together for thousands of years. And,
Correct.
Yeah, it's
you know,
true.
you fuckers are unraveling it in one generation, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Very-
like
very
it's like
true.
because back then, it was different, and I always seen it too. Like even whenever women's rights came in, like that kind of fucked it up because they were looking at it as like, all right, how can we make it where we're getting taxes from both of them? Okay, women's rights. Hell yeah, let's push women's rights.
Well, it's funny.
And that's how they got the double. Let's get double paid from each household.
The women really fucked themselves on the women's
what
rights.
I was
If you want to be real fair
Yeah,
about it, because
did.
what did they really gain from that? If you
Yeah.
really think about it.
Paying
Hey,
taxes.
you get to go work full time.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah, they wanted to be equal.
wanted to be equal, and now you got to pay taxes
Yeah.
just like us.
you want to try to
really-
raise kids and have a job. You want to play both roles.
Yeah, yeah.
Good thinking.
Yeah, hell yeah. Child support? Hell, we'll get a piece of that
Yeah.
too.
And then when
Come
you go
on.
a step further and you think about all these chicks that have encouraged all this like transsexual stuff in athletics and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, good thinking. Your daughter just raced some dude that beat her in the
Whooped
fucking
her ass.
300 relay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. She's out there
Dusted
wrestling
her.
this dude and he just pinned her 3
Man.
times. Like, hey.
And she
Hey,
working
that's-
hard her whole
that's funny
life
you
for
said
that
that.
shit. That's fucked up.
About that, like the gender roles and shit, like girls they don't want to stay home, cook and clean, and fucking they want to go work and stuff. But shit, I know people that it works out that the wife will go work and my homeboy stays at the house, takes care of the kids, but it still works the same exact way. Don't matter who the fuck does it. If you
Somebody's
can
a
earn,
breadwinner,
yeah,
yeah.
if you can earn, it don't matter. That's all you need to do is earn.
Yeah,
take
there's
care
a
of the
lot of
family.
women out there willing, if they have their degree, say they're RN, they have one kid. Hey baby, you can stay home with the kid, and because they get paid well enough.
There's
And
exceptions.
situations- yeah, there's
Just do that.
exceptions,
But I don't think that's the standard.
Yeah,
No,
no,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean?
No,
And
no, yeah,
that's
for
the
sure.
thing, too.
Because there's a lot of men I've always heard a lot of men like, no, I can't do that. Like, I'll have to work.
But yeah, that's government shit though. I feel like that's helping females. They promoted that though.
I'll be honest. I've always worked since I was mid-teens, and I cannot imagine like during COVID when I sat home for a few months, and like one of my
crazy.
kids came and stayed with me for a while, and I was helping her with her schoolwork and stuff. I mean, I had a good time with her, but I can't imagine that was just my life.
Yeah.
And I just chilled at the house every day, and we
Doing
did
nothing.
schoolwork and shit, and just sitting there looking at each other. I can't imagine doing that as a grown man.
That's exactly why
I
women
mean-
want women's rights. They want to go to work. They're
they
going
want it out
crazy.
there.
Yeah, they want to get out the house too.
Yeah.
Shit, I get bored too.
Yeah.
I feel like, though, really, if you want to be honest, that all got encouraged by the powers that be because they wanted to tear up the nuclear family.
Yeah,
And that's how they pushed in a lot of the agenda that's out there now.
facts.
What,
Yeah.
How do you feel about the government and their agendas that they push out?
Man, I'm probably the most conspiracy theory positive person there is, man. I think it's all of it.
You're an anti-government type person.
Oh, listen, we operate under a system that's one party that it pretends like it's two. And I compare it to like WWE. You've got basically a Vince McMahon that you don't know who he is.
Yeah.
And he's telling Trump and Biden, go say this, go say that. Go out there and argue. Everybody picks a team, gets all riled up. And they're taking somebody behind the scenes. It's the same guy telling both of them what to do. It doesn't make a fuck who wins. They let one of them in to rile up one side. Then they put it out and the other one in. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
constant.
And I feel like they let the FBI in politics.
Oh,
They
bro.
fuck with people.
Listen, the FBI, I used to, like when I was younger, I always assumed that the FBI, the CIA, all these things were like on our side. That was like our team.
To help us, yeah.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been so much stuff come out, and I think a lot of it's because of the internet now that you get to see a lot of information that used to was just you didn't know. It wasn't on the 6 o'clock news, so you didn't fucking know it. But like now, I mean, if you look at all the stuff the FBI's done as far as corruption, being involved in certain things, protecting others, the CIA trafficking drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, so much stuff.
Just the
that-
whistleblowers too. Like, why do they do whistleblowers like that? Like Julian Assange is in
Man,
a
I
prison.
can't even imagine wanting to be a whistleblower.
Man,
because
I
if
wouldn't
you look
either.
at it now, you're basically like saying, "Hey, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to have my 15 minutes of fame, but they're going to kill me."
Yeah.
And I
Unless
wouldn't
you're
get that much
Snowden,
satisfaction of letting everyone know. I'd be like, fuck yeah, I better not tell nobody else
Well,
about
the
this
thing
shit.
that's crazy, a lot of times too, they're telling you shit you already knew.
Yeah.
They're just
I mean,
confirming it, like having like
some
on
of the ones that told
black
on the
and white.
Clintons. Yeah, everybody already knew they were corrupt.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That wasn't like a big top secret. So
So how do you dissect the false conspiracy theories. You know, I mean,
I'll
'cause
tell you-
there's some that far fetched.
I'll tell you what's crazy too, and a good example of this is that QAnon stuff. I really believe that during this last election, when they were working up both sides, because I feel like they purposely try to stir up both camps. They love having everybody arguing because then nobody stops and says, why do we pay money in taxes and it's not even money that they need? They print so much money, the taxes don't even cover what they spend every year. Nobody stops and ever thinks about why did we just send our kid to die over in, Iraq? Why did we just... Nobody's questioning any of that because they're too busy being mad at their neighbor because he's a Democrat or because she's a Republican. And that's how they keep us divided.
But look, do you don't think that's like China or Russia, like another country that wants to go to war with us?
Man, I think that they blame everything on Russia and China, and that's just all propaganda. I mean, I'm not saying that's our best buddies, but they got their own people to do that too. China's real busy controlling all their billions of people. Russia's got their hands full controlling their people. I don't feel like they're taking time to be like, hey, we need to try to brainwash the American people. For what?
I'm not saying that like it's bullshit, like not that you're saying that or anything, but you don't like ever think how big a bully that the U.S. is, like that, like Russia or China wants to be the bully instead.
You know what?
And it'd be easier.
We're not even the bully. We're just being allowed to be the bully because of the powers that be. If you really look at who controls all the money on the world stage, that's who's calling the show. Because any situation, if you want to know, hey, what's really going on, all you got to do is follow the money. Wherever the money is going or whoever has the opportunity to get money, that is what's going to dictate the situation.
And who do you think has the money?
The world bankers that run the Federal Reserve.
Who runs the world banks?
If you own
I'm trying to get technical.
The people that own the printing presses.
Who owns the printing presses?
Well, you got the Rothschilds, and then you probably got about 10 families. I mean, this is all public knowledge. It's just nobody bothers to look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is like stuff they don't teach you in school. And then if you ever talk about it, it's like they try to act like, oh, you're a white supremacist. You're a conspiracy theorist. They got all these names. But really, it's just, well, I would like to know why this happened. And since this doesn't make sense, why do we... Like the whole Federal Reserve is the biggest scam there is. They created that. I mean, I'm sure you guys know all this, but they created that. It's not anything to do with the government. It's just a bunch of bankers over in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they print our money. They charge us. They create inflation out of thin air. I mean, it's just a scam. It's just all it is everybody is indebted and enslaved to that.
But who are the slave owners?
The guys that own the printing presses, the guys I just said.
Some people may say that it's the UK.
Nah, it goes higher than that.
Or is it a race?
Listen, I really believe those families that own the banks. And I mean, there's shows on YouTube you could watch. Like some of these families, you could trace it back to this is when Jesus was flipping the tables, the temple.
Man, you keep on saying it. You're hinting it, but you're not saying it, brother.
Well, I'm trying not to get you demonetized.
Exactly. Thank you. Hey, he's looking out.
Hey, I know the rules.
He's looking out for us, man. I tried like 10 different times.
This is the thing, too, though. Listen.
I was like, does he want me to say it for you?
No, listen, man. This is the
spell
thing.
it out.
This is the thing.
Nobody say it.
Everybody knows who we're talking about. But the thing is, though, this is where it gets crazy. Because when you say it, it's not the whole group. It's not every Jew. I'm not saying every Jew is in on some conspiracy. It just so happens, though, that the, say, 10, 12 families we're talking about happen to have Jewish last names.
Yeah.
However, I don't even think they're really Jewish. And there's a whole thing on this called the Synagogue of Satan. And basically, it's supposed to be a cult. I don't know this, but this is all tied to the Illuminati and all this stuff. And, I mean, these people are basically Satanists. And they hide behind Jewish last names. And then, if you ever say anything about them, you're a Holocaust denier.
Yeah.
You're an anti-Semite. I mean, if you don't believe me, ask Kanye.
Yeah.
Kanye can tell you. If you start questioning, if you want to know who you're not allowed to talk about and who who runs shit, then that's
that's funny because that's what we were talking about, like religion. Like the last couple of times, like we had people come on, but that's what it goes all the way back then.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna do you one better. These same people have influenced everybody's religion.
Yeah.
Okay, because they're the ones. And I'll tell you, I knew this when I was 8 or 9 years old. I was going to the Methodist church with my parents. And they're in there telling us, hey, the Jews are God's chosen people.
Yep, that's
and I'm
exactly
like,
what
well,
they taught
Mom, Dad, why are we Methodist? I'd like to be a
Right.
Jew. I mean, if they're God's chosen people, why are we at this church? Let's go over to the synagogue. But that didn't even come around till about the 1800s. That didn't even exist in Christianity. Used to Christianity was not teaching that these are God's chosen people. That all came around a couple hundred years ago, and it just comes back to propaganda. It comes back to who's got money, and it comes back to what's your agenda.
Look.
And if your agenda is world domination and to control everything, then you need to control politics and you need to control, the governments.
That's another thing I got on is I went, okay, well, the people started tripping out in the comments over this shit, like about what I said, because like I said, I thought everybody just has one God, really, and I think everybody just changed it, okay, and flipped it for themselves, like I said. But whenever I went back and I read a professor's book that studied religion, like at Princeton. Mm-hmm. Well, it went all the way back to Judaism, like way, way back in the day. Okay, well, they had Paul, and they said Christianity started from then. And I was like, well, damn, what if they just got tired of the Jewish people having the power and being all in Rome, and just like in the Holy Roman, like not even the Holy Roman Empire yet, because Christianity didn't even exist yet. Well, they took Paul's literature and then they interpreted it for themselves, and that turned into Christianity. But before then, there was no such thing.
If this happened in today's times, it would be a cult.
Yeah,
for sure.
And at the time, they treated it like a cult. And it's crazy, too, though, because it's all based off your perception in your time. But if you'd been alive back in the day, as far as the Jewish religion, that all came from the Talmud. That all came from Samaria. And it's basically, there's a lot of iffiness there on, like, what's a cult, what's witchcraft. And it's all your interpretation.
Yo.
And if you're one of those religions, you don't want to hear none of this.
Real shit.
But if you can think outside the box and step back, and you're not all caught up in being a Catholic, all caught up in being Jewish, all caught up in being a Muslim,
and
you're just thinking.
That's what causes division.
Well, and that's on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they love.
want it that way.
Yeah.
They don't want everybody to agree on this because, hey, listen, if we all agreed on all these issues, then we're going to be like, hey, why are we letting these guys enslave us financially?
Yeah.
Why did they just raise this interest rate? Why are my taxes this high? Why, where's this even going? And to what end?
Yeah.
So
that's what I said. That's why I think it's something crazy big. But that's what, like, it was crazy, though, just to see how many people were pissed off in the comments. They're like, this motherfucker's going to hell. Like, I'll pray for you and this and that. I'm like, listen, I said, shit, it's not far-fetched. Like, damn, I just said something, like, logical.
I'll tell you straight up what I think. I grew up in a Christian church, and, I was raised with all that. And the older I got, I really believe that you can't just say, my religion is the religion.
Correct.
That
Exactly.
is really, really a very narrow-minded way
Exactly.
to look
That's
at
what
that.
turned me off.
Because how can I sit over here and think I'm a Christian? There's 10 times as many Muslims. There's 10 times as many Buddhists. And all these other religions. Why is their religion not dominant if there's 10 times as many
that
of them?
been around longer than
there's
Christianity
all
as
kinds
well.
of
Like,
stuff. And what really, though, if you get into all the ancient alien stuff and all that, then it really comes down to somebody probably came to this planet and either put us here, visited and advanced us, something.
Yeah.
And I feel like all that comes out of the same place. And every place on Earth has got like the same version of events as far as some kind of sun god, something comes down from the sky.
Yeah.
Hey, let's build a pyramid to fucking praise them. All these cultures have the exact same stuff, even though they're separated by thousands and thousands of miles, so that is just, to me, it's just things like that you can't deny.
Yeah, for sure. I've always thought that too. Like, I grew up Pentecostal church. We were always taught and told, this way religion belief is the way. Baptist, Catholic, they don't get to heaven. They're not. It's not real. But as an adult, once I got to my adult age and I could think for myself, I was like, how's that right? Like that can't be right. There's no way. If you paint God as being this person that don't judge and loves you for who you are, no matter what, well, that's contradicting of you to say.
He said, "You're some fucking." He's a judgmental motherfucker.
It's contradicting.
To me, I just don't see how you could get up every day and think, "Well, my religion's it." And that's
it's
it. Everybody else
yours.
is wrong, and I've got all the answers because nobody has all the answers.
Correct.
We've all just got an idea or a guess.
We'll have all the answers once we get there.
Yeah,
whether we're
and
going to heaven or hell.
Maybe
when we
will.
become a fly.
And the answer might be, hey, guess what? We're in another dimension, and none of what we believed is what it is.
hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Simulation. We're in a simulation, man.
Who knows?
They're just testing us out, seeing what the fuck we do.
See, because that's a whole other thing too. The older I've gotten and a lot of stuff I've seen, as far as I used to really be big on, I believe there's aliens from outer space and all this.
Yeah.
Then I've gotten to where I'm kind of like, are they really even from outer space, or are they
they-
just from
yeah.
another dimension? And then when you apply that dimension stuff, then it's like, okay, maybe that's why people see ghosts. Maybe you see something from another dimension. Maybe that's why they never can find Bigfoot. His ass steps out of another dimension and back.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, things like that. That it sounds crazy, but then when you really think about it, like, nah, you can fill in a lot of holes there if you go with this, like, dimension thing.
Kind of like the Nephilim, the giants and shit.
Yeah.
Like that shit too. Like
See, now that's a whole nother thing right there.
They
as
said
far
they,
as,
they
like,
still have them in
listen,
on the ground.
it's well documented that the Smithsonian rounded up all the bones of the giants. I mean, that's like, there's 1,000 articles you can go look at. I mean, there was stuff found in my state where I grew up, and like they dug in these Indian burial mounds. They found them in caves. They found them. They found them in cemeteries in Europe. I mean, there were famous people that documented like meeting giants, like Magellan that sailed down around South America, the famous explorer. He's got stories where he ran into giants in Patagonia, which is down at the bottom of South America.
Yeah.
I don't think I mean, that guy, that'd be like calling like Elon Musk or somebody now and saying, hey, Elon Musk is saying he saw a giant, and everybody like, oh, bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's pretty credible, you would think. He's a famous guy. Everybody knows who he is. I mean, because
Especially-
back 500 years ago, if you're selling around the globe, you're kind of like a celebrity.
Yeah.
And I don't think that guy's just making up shit. I mean, because they were seeing crazy stuff anyway.
Hell yeah. I bet they seen crazy
could just tell the
creatures.
truth and freak you out. They didn't need to like make up bullshit. So if this guy's saying, hey, I ran into a 15-foot giant, he might have. And I love it too when all this stuff is posted on Facebook. People always laugh. And as soon as I see somebody laugh at something like that, I think, okay, you don't even have a fucking clue because you're not even willing to open your mind and think. You're just, no, I never got
The
taught
possibility.
that. It's stupid. Oh, it's bullshit. I never got taught that. I never saw that on the news.
They never teach me that in school.
Yeah, well, of course they didn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't
you
wanna
go to
teach
school
you
to be a
life.
factory worker. The whole school system's set up off the Prussian model where basically it's like they just wanted to train you to work in a factory. I mean, that's why if you really think about your whole school experience, it's all get there on time, sit down and be quiet, don't do this, don't talk to him, work on your task. It's never, hey, think outside the box, give me your opinion. What could we do to make this better? Fuck no. No. And they basically train you to be a factory worker. Because back at the time when they started the school systems a couple hundred years ago, they put everybody's ass in a factory. That was the Industrial Revolution. And they trained you to be that guy.
Your graduation slip is pretty much like he attended, like, so he's a good worker. He'd be a good worker. That's pretty much what it was.
If you really think about it, there's always some dumbass kid in your class that made good grades because they were just like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Hell yeah.
I'll do whatever you tell me, ma'am. And they got good grades even though they didn't know shit.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like everybody that made good grades in school was just a really intelligent person. A whole lot of it is just I play by the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're a roll.
Hell no, that's why I don't believe in that shit. What you call it?
So do you think Kanye's Jesus?
I'm sorry?
You think Kanye's Jesus then?
Nah, but I do give Kanye credit for having enough nuts to step up and say some of the stuff he has. And Kanye's in a position where he's in the music industry. And the music industry, we all know who controls it. It's obvious that they push certain agendas as far as like what they want the brand to be. I mean, there's an awfully lot of people that do satanic stuff, push satanic imagery. Every time they're at the Super Bowl, they have to do something that's I mean, there's just too much ritualistic stuff. And if it wasn't the case, why are you still doing it? Like, you've kind of played that out, but they keep doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not flashy or new. So, like, are you really doing it as a ritual? Because otherwise, why, this isn't new.
Yeah,
they've
that's what I
been
always
doing
say. I think
it,
we talked about that before. It's like, it don't take a rocket science to figure it out. I mean, evil's all around. Just like good is all around, evil's all around. The
believe that
satanic,
totally.
the
I don't care.
agenda is out there in the wide open, right in front of our eyes.
No matter what religious beliefs you have to accept there's good and evil.
Correct.
Because you encounter that every day in real life.
Correct.
And and if you can't see that a lot of the stuff in the entertainment industry is evil, then you've just got your eyes shut.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're not looking.
Yeah, well,
because I mean, it's an agenda that's pushed and it's obvious. And there's a lot of celebrities that, if you really think about it, they suck. Like, why are they famous?
Yeah.
I mean, we all know rappers that can't rap, singers that can't sing, actors that can't act. I mean, but these people, everybody knows them. They're rich.
Yep.
So
Like, where the fuck did the Kardashians come from? I said, what are they good at?
Because of their hut. Because of the.
They're just famous for being famous. I mean, Paris Hilton, all those people that kind of came out.
Wasn't
of
she
that
a model
same
though?
little-
No, it was his
Paris
dad.
Hilton wasn't even a model.
It was their dad.
He was a lawyer. That's why
He was a lawyer for the OJ
OJ.
trial.
But
So
I'm
that's
saying,
how he kind of they piggybacked
That's
off
where
him.
that's where their name first
Yeah.
came out of.
They sold pussy.
So that's where they would see all their pictures and shit when they were together.
Well,
Oh, look
see,
at
and then she got
Oh,
with Bruce
shit, black
Jenner.
and mild.
that too. He
And
was
you almost have to wonder if Bruce Jenner wasn't influenced by somebody to be like, hey, man, you're kind of irrelevant. You haven't been big since the 70s, but we got a plan here. You want to be big name again? Put on this dress.
Said put on some tits.
All right, Cat.
Yeah.
some tits on you.
You know, I mean, you laugh about it, but then you look at some of the stuff Cat Williams has been letting out, and it's really all the same shit. It's really all this ritualistic stuff.
Yeah,
they want to
yeah.
degrade you and shame you and
Yeah.
humiliation rituals.
Like
and-
that's what I say. Like with the Cat Williams stuff, like my opinion with that is that's always like you said. It's always been there. It's always been going on. What I'm not saying what he's saying is not true, but I think now there are just people just reaching and just going because it, like you said, it gains views, it gains people start talking about it. It's like we've already. I mean that stuff's already been there. It's
Oh, for sure.
It's been known. You don't have to drag other people's name through it and make it a big.
I think he's a little salty, and I think he's just decided, like, well, you know what?
Yeah,
Let me just
They all
put
did
this
the
out
way to
there.
get back
And
out
he
there.
said all of
yeah.
them did something. He
Every
said
single
Steve
one.
Harvey's hair has been fake.
That stuff with P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever, that shit's
Yeah,
hilarious.
that's
Man, do you think all that really happened?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like,
so you think
tell
that
me
really
one
happened?
reason
lot
I
of-
shouldn't think
So
so.
a
you
lot
think
of
that really
people
happened with
say
Meek Mill?
confirm it. A lot of
Hey,
people are
listen,
like, man, bro, like yeah,
I've seen some of the interviews where they talk to like Usher and some of them. That motherfucker basically got abused by him, and he ain't fucking. He's not saying no, he didn't do it. He's just kind of dancing around it. You know,
He
I
was
mean,
a dancing motherfucker.
Yeah.
and
Like
then
in
you
the
got like
videos.
Justin Bieber. There was a video on the internet not too long ago where he's sucking Odell Beckham's dick.
And they all get famous.
I mean, like,
what? The-
you know, once you see that, like, why am I ever going to believe something didn't happen to him?
So is that part why Pornhub's getting banned in Texas? You know,
Man, I don't know what's up with that. I didn't like follow the lead up to that, but I don't see how they can just do that in one state or how.
it's our state officials.
Are they doing it? Are they doing it just to them, or is it all the fucking porn sites?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you just pick out them? And
Because he was saying underage girls or something that
Yeah.
they're letting underage girls be on the website by not verifying them or something.
I think they're I think it's both. They're trying to stop the sex trafficking even through Pornhub as putting young underage girls and boys on there, videos of them, and then also anybody could get on Pornhub.
Yeah, you can
16-year-old,
just-
17-year-old.
Yeah, you can just upload that
syndrome
shit.
stuff.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
you can get on Pornhub and watch it yourself, and then you can even create a fake account. I mean, kids these days aren't dumb, you know. So I think it has a lot to do with that, but I think it's mainly because of the underage.
They'll probably restructure
Sex trafficking.
some of that
Yeah.
to where
Hey.
they don't just let people submit their own stuff without some kind of criteria.
IDs and
Yeah,
shit.
because
You have to send
Spain
IDs.
and them did it not that long ago, where you have to verify.
Oh yeah, Europe has crazy ass privacy
Yeah, Europe
laws.
did. Yeah.
All of them, they fucking. I think they made some laws like you can't even put your kids on the internet. Like they could sue you later on if you put your kids' pictures on the internet. Like how people do here on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh,
They'd be
yeah.
like, I didn't want to be put on the internet. Like I'm suing you.
So you see that. Where, you also see where TikTok is. If TikTok don't sell within 6 months, they're going to ban it.
No, it ain't passed just yet.
I know, but I'm saying.
I really
That's what
think
they're-
all that is just propaganda. And it's just a lot of that, like, hey, let's be mad at China.
Yeah.
China's the bad guy and all this stuff. And I'm not saying China's a good guy. All I'm saying is they always try to direct us where to be mad.
Yeah.
It's like never look at what we're doing to you. Never look at the money we stole or the rights we took from you. Just be mad at TikTok and, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Does that- well,
Epstein list. They're like, fuck it. Everybody
Yeah,
saw
I
that
mean,
shit.
the way they've handled Epstein, that
That's
pretty
it.
much tells you the country you live in.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that that's never been made public, nobody else ever went to jail. He got killed suspiciously. That Ghislaine chick is sitting in jail, not saying a fucking word. I mean,
It's bullshit.
it's all bullshit, and it's all obvious that
Yeah.
Everyone's ready for that list and waiting for it. And
But
then
no,
it came out.
what they keep on doing is they keep on saying that for certain people's safety, they still can't have their names released. But I'm like, that's bullshit.
yeah,
like,
safety is in not going to prison.
Yeah, that's what I'm
They
saying.
don't want
Like,
to go to
that's-
prison. They said, fuck that.
Like I don't understand that. Like whenever someone else, some dude from the street, everything's in fucking paperwork. You see all of that shit. That's what I'm like.
Everywhere.
I can't believe that. And then like no interview, no phone call interview from that lady. There's like no kind of media coverage
It
or
just
anything. It's like
lets you know who controls things and how it works. And like this somehow like got out of the bag because I don't think they ever wanted Epstein to be like famous. I feel like he was like working for the CIA and Mossad, and he was gathering information on all these politicians, and they were using it to, you know, influence and control. Basically, that's all it is. Control.
I feel like that was
why
as
do you
well.
want a video of some dude banging a kid unless you're going to use that against them later to hold it over them?
Yep.
You know, you weren't using it to put them in jail. You were just using it to blackmail them.
Fuck yeah.
Correct. And that's where I think that's where it all starts, and it's just continued circle they all do to each other.
Or even like that, like how they got a list. They're probably like, well, shit, we'll say you were here, motherfucker.
Well, this is the thing too now. That list is just floating out there, and if they were mad at you, they can write your name on the list. It doesn't mean you were ever there. Doesn't mean you know. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, because they said they got the Clintons, they got fucking Trump. They said he was on his jet. They're like fucking.
Hey, listen, the fact that Trump was allowed to be president, you have to. That's suspect right there. And I know a lot of people get so mad because they're so defensive of him. And if I had to pick, I like him way better than I like Biden. But at the same time, I know who's telling him what to do. I mean, they said Netanyahu, that guy that married the dude that married Trump's daughter. Netanyahu used to come and stay at his family's house when he came to, you know, from Israel over to the U.S.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you're not like tied in like that.
So that's like fucking.
And then just happened to be the president. You were selected because of who you know and whatever you agreed to.
That's crazy. I did not know that. That's some shit.
I cannot think of the guy's name offhand, but it's the one that he had as like in his cabinet. God, I'll think of his name here. But anyway, he married Trump's daughter, and he's the one that his family is big time money. And Netanyahu from Israel used to come and stay at his family's house in the U.S.
That's I believe shit like that though happens, like especially too for influence, because they said Franklin Roosevelt had communist spies in his cabinet and he didn't even know it. That's like a lot of the reason like the shit happened in the U.S. the way it did.
I mean, it's so crazy when you look at history, like who was on what side and who really won. You know what I'm saying? Because all you know of history is what you were told in school.
That's what I'm saying. Now, the more you understand it.
I mean, yeah, and if you stop and think about all the things you were taught in school, they didn't teach you any of the truth about how anything happened, as far as, you know, any of like, why did the Japanese go and bomb Pearl Harbor? Why did we go over and fight in Europe?
Yeah.
Why did we land on the moon? I mean, you can just go down the list and it's so much bullshit.
Or they won't say why people did shit in history the way they did. Like they'll say they were just bad people or something, or they won't say what their beliefs were and what our beliefs were at the time.
Yeah, they won't tell you like, hey, why did so and so get assassinated?
Yeah,
You know, like why did somebody want to kill this guy? I mean, there's a lot there that.
it's crazy. And then like now it's even crazier. Like even in Texas history now, they're taking out slavery and stuff. I'm like, I don't know how. It's weird. Like, how can you omit a part of history anyways? If it happened, it happened. Like, fuck
I
it.
mean, my thing, the only way you can learn from history is if you're taught it. And if you don't want to repeat something, you at least need to have knowledge of it.
Yeah, that it can happen. If
this
happens,
did happen. This was a mistake. This is what happened. And
yeah, see, and people, I don't know. And that's why I feel like people are ignorant to shit like that. Like, they fall into...
There's a lot of people, though, that are really dumb about all this stuff. Because if you really go by just what you're taught in school, you would be under the impression that all white people owned slaves, and that wasn't the case. Everybody in this country was broke as fuck, just about. And basically, there were rich families that had slaves, but then there was a shit ton of broke ass European and white people that lived here that were just
Irish
scrounging it out. Everybody didn't have slaves.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
what
just
I be saying.
handful of like rich families.
Yeah, because I've heard even Irish people used to say, we were slaves too. Like, they used to be slaves too.
Yeah,
I mean, the working conditions and everything back then was so fucking bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not equating that to being a slave, but I mean, it was bad. Like, people were barely fucking making it.
Probably not even getting paid
No,
and
they-
shit from the job.
they
They're
were
like,
slaves.
oops, we'll wait next
They
month,
were
guys."
slaves. They just got lucky because they had white skin. They were like, fuck this. And they
listen,
got to leave.
Used to, you didn't have child labor laws and all this stuff. I mean, like, I know, like, where I'm from, it was all coal mining. Well, back 100 years ago, if you worked in the coal mines, you might be in there working with a kid that's 7 years old.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a different fucking time.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid ain't going to school. He's in there with a shovel, carrying buckets of coal that you just handed him.
him and his daddy and shit in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's really how it was, though. And I mean, I think all industry had that. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where
Back to what you're saying, you had all the kids. Like, you got to get to work. You ain't going to
I mean,
school.
it was just a different time.
That was like my dad and shit too when they came over and shit. Nah, you got to go to work. He was like
And then you
14
got
years
kids
old.
nowadays
Like,
sitting there playing on an iPad all day that won't even pick up their room. And I don't think that kid can even grasp when you explain that to him.
Yeah.
He just can't even equate that some other kid that's his age is in a fucking coal mine all day. You know what I'm saying? Carrying buckets of coal. Or, you know, I mean, I don't even think that kid can get that. I mean, he can hear it, but I don't think he really.
Yeah, understands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's what happens with rich people's money too. Like one person has to build the money all the way up, and then the second generation got it nice, and then the third one just don't even know what the fuck, and they lose it.
That's how you separate that generational wealth and who gets to really run shit from who had a nice little run and they're done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, like, I could think of people that I knew in Dallas that came in the club as customers. Like, there was this one guy, Carter Lay. He was the heir to the Frito Lay family. I mean, I think they were paying him. He was getting like $10 or $20 million a year, just part of his trust fund.
Shit.
And he had like a house in Dallas, a house in Hawaii, a house here and there. And all he did was just go from city to city, just living it up, man. I mean, this guy basically, he ended up, I think, dying of a drug overdose. Wow. But it's like, you're getting paid $20 million a year just to be alive. You got a bunch of houses to live in. All your family's rich, and you just want to go do a bunch of drugs and die.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fucking. That's like a meaningless ass life damn near because you never did anything to even have that.
It comes back to, I think, people that didn't have to earn the money, they don't understand. And then it's like you see them do all this other crazy shit. Like we were talking about the guy here in town that wants to molest kids. Your dad's a multimillionaire. You could do anything you wanted. Oh, I just like to try to screw kids here in the community. You're like, what?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. That's why I was like, man, if I had that type of money, I'd have been flying my favorite porn stars out, bringing them. I said, y'all come chill for a couple weeks. I said, then y'all go bring another set of them if I had that much money.
You just report it and be like, all right, we just did a porn. So you're paying them like
something. You would think you would have something to entertain yourself better than just being an absolute degenerate, piece of shit. Yeah.
That's what I say about money. I'm like, damn. I said, but I guess
it definitely corrupts. I think it definitely corrupts, and especially people that it's new to them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you grew up in a family where, like, your grandpa was a judge and his grandpa owned 1,000 acres, and, if you grew up in that family, it's a whole different deal. And you don't see a lot of those kids straying off and being fuck-ups. No. Not as many. I mean, a few, but not as many. But
true. They're over there fucking working on that shit.
Yeah, but
like piece of shit, James Staley.
It's when someone strikes it, when one person, their fucking dad or grandpa strikes it rich out of nowhere, and then fucking.
Well, and I think what happens if you're the first or second generation of that money, all you do is go out and live it up. So you got some nanny raising your kid, and you probably feel guilty. You probably got that single mom syndrome, like I'm never here. Oh, I feel bad for you. Oh, let me just shower you with gifts. Let me just let you get away with shit I wouldn't if I was here all the time. And I think these rich people do that to their kids. I mean, it's like there's no discipline there. There's no family structure. It's just we're gone all the time. You're with the nanny, and we'd like you to act better next time we go to this Brazil. So instead of acting like an asshole, we're going to buy you this and this. And then that's how the kid grows up, and then you wonder why when he's 30 years old he's a fuck up.
Yeah,
and then they do it even for the grown ones too. They get in trouble and then fucking. Yeah,
look at the local guys here that grew up with rich families and just
hell yeah. Who you think's paying that fucking lawyer bill? Fucking sure as fuck ain't him.
Nah, it's their family. It's their family out of embarrassment.
Like you know what I mean? Oh, here we go. Keep paying. That's why.
Well, too. That family. The families would probably love to just write these little fuckers off, but. There's so much name attached there. They feel like they've got an image in the community, and all their rich friends are looking at them like, damn.
Yeah, and they say, y'all got a fuck up on y'all's hands.
Yeah.
Nah, I'd hate to be a part of them. Hey, that's why I just like being little old me. He said, we drink Pacifico. He said, nothing special. He said, Maso Menos. He said, the guy right there, Rosetta Stone himself.
I like Apple.
That's too Get that new Google phone that has that shit, that AI.
I'll stay with my
that shit's
15
crazy.
Pro Max and use Babbel. Thank you though.
Nah, but that shit's 10 times. It's crazy, bro. Like, cause they'll talk to you and they'll fucking say it to you and shit. Like,
in real time.
Whatever language, like it could be anywhere. Like
that Google phone.
Yeah, the Google. It has like AI on it and shit. Even the pictures, like. Say we all took a picture and like somebody wasn't looking, it'll take
move it. Yeah,
it'll move it. I'm like, what the
crazy.
fuck?
Man,
like,
AI.
That's nuts.
AI
bro.
put a tooth on Josh. And I didn't even ask it to.
Hey, that's another thing too. As far as what's coming in the future with this AI, I mean, it's not going to be long, and they're probably doing it now, where they could like put a video on TV of somebody doing something, and it's totally fake. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, they could show you a video of like Trump walking in the White House and shooting somebody, and you're going to really think you just saw that.
Hell yeah.
But it's total bullshit.
It's damn near there because they can already make the pictures
voices and shit.
they can do the
That's like
voices
Minority
already.
Report, that movie.
So fucking if crimes happen, shit. Now it's gonna be crazy because now they're gonna have to be able to fucking decide what's real and what's not. I don't-
Well, that's the whole thing. The people that have that technology, that would have that available to them, if they wanted to frame you, you're just fucked.
Yeah.
Because regular people are going to assume, oh, well, there's video of this. They're not going to think, hey, I bet the CIA went in and had to make a fake video
Yeah.
AI generated.
Or how people get
Yeah.
convicted before the trial or something, like whenever they're like, oh yeah, they damn sure did it. You're like, oh yeah, they're guilty as fuck. And then now you got a video to go along with it.
Oh.
They're gonna say,
Hell yeah.
Well, think about it. Every year, especially around election years, they'll pick one or two videos off the internet and just beat everybody to death with it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I mean, there's always like something that they rally everybody around, like whether it was Rodney King or, you know, I mean, there's just always ones where it's somebody getting beat up and then they just show it and show it and show it, trying to push an agenda.
they're like, y'all remember this? You say y'all want this to happen again?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
but I
said,
mean,
vote for me.
you can get on like any of the YouTube stuff and watch a million videos of people getting beat up 15-on-1 and nobody gives a shit, but it's like they'll just pick one random video and be like, oh, this is the one to upset you.
Hell
Oh yeah. They're like, this kid was with his friends and got beat up by all of them.
Well, they always like the narrative like the police beat up one guy, which, I mean, there's lots of dirty cops that beat up people, but that ain't the only guy that got beat up that year, I promise.
Hell
Hell yeah.
no.
You know what
Yeah.
my experience,
They
the
pick the
police
best
will beat
ass
up
whooping.
anybody.
Yeah,
They're
it's
not
not-
just picking on certain groups of people.
Correct. It wasn't
yeah.
that cop's first time.
Like where I grew up at, it's all white. The cops are beating up white people.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
that's what's happening there.
Act the
I mean, if
fool,
you
they gonna
just,
get
you
in
know,
the way.
I mean, everybody views things through their own perception,
Yeah.
but you got to stop and realize that's not just getting done to you. That's getting done to everybody. Everybody's a victim somewhere.
Around the world.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's countries
yeah.
where it's all white people, and there's lots of white people that are getting the shit kicked out of them by the cops. And it's just,
I think they don't. They sometimes they don't want people's ass enough.
oh, they pick and choose.
I was like, hold on, what?
Yeah, so I feel like if they whoop more people's ass, say,
Well, you know, it's funny. You watch those videos like in Russia, and
Oh,
you'll just
yeah.
see some dude walking down the street, and some cop just walks up and like kicks him in the fucking face. Like a big,
remember
you know,
whenever
karate
COVID was
kick,
happening and
then
people
they
weren't wearing
cuff
their
him.
masks, and they're like, "Come on!" They're like, psh, psh.
Маска где? А у вас где маска? Где? Маску одень. Маска где? Маску одень.
really whooping their ass in the street. They're like, what the fuck are you doing now?
Where they gotta like bend over and like.
Yeah,
put
like
their
I
arms
think it's
up and shit.
Afghanistan
Oh, yeah.
or Iraq that do that with the whip.
Yeah, they whoop their ass.
They
with-
whip your ass. With
Oh,
the
there's a
whip
bunch
down
of
the
countries
street.
where they'll do that. Like a bunch of those African countries, they'll hit you with a whip. Like Thailand or Kenya. I mean, there's a
No,
lot
like
of places.
the Russian prisons, like that. The motherfuckers really break
they
you
make
like
them put their
that.
arms
Yeah,
back.
that's when they make them put their arms and fucking walk with their face down towards the
Yeah.
ground and walk around everywhere. But
Yeah,
that's really
you
breaking a
go all the
motherfucker
time.
in.
Oh,
They don't even do that in the
That's
U.S.
like
prison.
El Salvador prison. That's like the worst one right now.
Yeah, they're like
With the most
militant. They're like,
security.
come on. They're
But
like,
hey,
go,
that
go, go,
motherfucker's
go.
doing it though. I give him props.
He cleaned up
like,
the fucking-
no,
Yeah,
he's
he
really
cleaned
trying
up.
to straighten it out.
Yeah,
they got rid of all
that
the
shit's
agencies
crazy,
and
bro.
stuff.
Because I was telling them I was over there like in 07, like I was young as 18, and like it was bad. Like nighttime couldn't be out. Like they're
Yeah.
like, nah, fuck that. You need to be when the sun goes down. You need to be inside, like, because it's that bad. They see you, it's on. Like they're gonna rob you. They'll do anything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I was like, shit. But now that their president, he fucking built that big ass prison, and they're like,
saw
that's
that.
like the most max prison, the best one in the world.
Yeah.
And like,
It's the best one.
yeah, because it has everything you need, like to control.
It's like
these
a little
motherfuckers.
city.
Oh
They
yeah,
basically
yeah.
just put like what, like 30,000 of them or something there. It was something
It's
crazy.
huge, a
Yeah, I
huge
saw
number.
the video on it.
Yeah, because they're fucking arresting them and ask questions later. That's why they say
Yeah.
they're taking away
Well, I
their
mean, if you got
rights.
13s on your eyelids, there's not a lot of
no,
questions.
no,
to
They're
ask.
saying,
Taco.
they're saying this is pretty much they're arresting every male
Yeah.
in every household.
They're gonna
I
try 'em.
think if you're
And then they interrogate them and figure out if
If you're with
gang-
them.
Yeah, they're like, all right, buddy. They're like, we're
And
sorry.
even if you're not, and then I heard stories even kids that they weren't. They're like,
Yeah.
no, you are. You're staying.
you
And
say the wrong thing or
Yeah.
guilt by association. Well,
That
your,
too. You got
your
a cousin?
cousin's a famous so and
Yeah.
so. So hey,
your neighbor.
come with us, OT. We know you.
Yeah. They say it's like a 6-month process too, like before you even
Oh,
get arraigned and shit. Yeah, it's like
Damn.
because they're going through there's so many of them.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck, but shit, homeboy's really be doing it. He's really doing it though. Cleaned up his country, shit.
No, he did. No, there's people over there. They said it's clean. They said no,
Yeah.
there's no crime. They said even in the bad neighborhoods, crime's gone. So that's what they need to do here.
Well, I mean, if you do something like that, it scares the shit out of everybody else.
Hell yeah, everyone.
And see, that's the thing in this country. We're not tough on anything.
No, fuck no.
I mean, we're tough on people that sell drugs, which is really the thing they probably ought to be the most lenient on, because you ought to respect the fact, hey, this person sold this trying to make money.
Hell yeah.
But instead we do everything ass backward. Oh, you raped a kid? Probation.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you shot 3 people? We'll dismiss it. You know, shit like that. But then, like, you get caught really moving some coke or some drugs, and hey, we better put you away.
Yep.
Fuck
Yeah.
60
You know
years.
what? I feel like people that do get to decide shit like that, they've never even fucking, like you said, the judge that fucking, they're already from a line of people, they're well established, they never even lived bad ever, most likely, and then they just get to judge these people's lives and say what's right and what's wrong. That's what gets me, and they don't look back at what people have already been through. And
I don't think they care.
yeah, and they don't give a fuck
yeah,
either.
because
Like they said,
they
they're
just
like
don't care.
they're like 15 years, and they'll fucking
I mean,
give time out like candy.
If you really think about it with these judges, it's crazy. Like, whatever day he's having, he can just dictate your life.
Exactly.
It's insane.
And it's just
And as far as the drug stuff, too, it really makes you realize they're only so tough on the drugs because somebody else wants to control that and make money off of it.
yeah.
And if you ever have to wonder, like, if the CIA or somebody controls this, ask yourself, is there not drugs in every town in this country every second of the day?
Yeah.
Now,
fuck yeah.
to have that much drugs here full time for the last 50 years, I don't think it's just a few dudes from Mexico running it across in a backpack. I mean, you're bringing it in on fucking, trains. You're bringing it on cargo ships.
And
I mean, you're bringing a crazy amount in.
No,
and
but-
you've got a distribution system that's really, really hooked up.
Before that, like, but where the fuck does the hunger for drugs come from? Like, that bad that the U.S. has such a fucking big hunger for drugs.
We've got too many people that have it too easy and they're too lazy and they just want to do drugs and escape their life that they're so miserable at because they're tired of playing their video game or they've watched everything on Netflix, so they want to get high. I mean, and then I think, too, a lot of it, there's a difference with the kind of drugs you do. I mean, like, the guy that smokes weed's not the same guy that's buying heroin. I mean, you've got different things going on psychologically with you that you want to do certain drugs.
Yeah.
And even the pharmacies, like the big pharma shit, like they sell fucking, say, like Adderall, or they sell fucking Oxycontin, and then there's a fucking illegal drug for that, and that's like what people turn to when the doctor cuts them off.
These pharmaceutical companies figured out a long time ago, hey, these people like to do drugs. We're going to sell some to them.
Yeah.
I mean, they ravaged my state of West Virginia with Oxycontin. I mean, they just ravaged it with that.
Man.
I mean, once you get people on those drugs, they're hooked. I mean, they'll sell you their kids. They don't give a fuck. They just want the drugs.
It's like that Valium. Whenever they had Valium, that's why they quit making it, because they were like, oh shit, these people are really, they're motherfuckers really hooked on
The
this
thing
shit.
that's crazy, the Valiums and the Xanaxes and all this shit, they've got other drugs that do the same shit.
Yeah.
They just don't get you high like that. They don't push that stuff. They push the ones that they know have street value
Most
because that's
addictive.
how they make their money.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's like the legal fucking drug pushers. That's what's like crazy to me. Like, did you see the story about the Oxycontin? They did the documentary
Yeah.
on it and how they fucking had one fucking guy that they just had to break his ass finally to fucking pass it as FDA approved.
Yeah.
And then boom, it just went everywhere. He said, all you have to say is that it might not be addictive. And then fucking boom, it fucking
Oh
everybody.
yeah, what was that show called? It was on Netflix, right? Pill something.
Yeah.
Or I think Pill or something.
That's just crazy because that was
That
a
shit
real
was crazy.
story.
Yeah. I tripped out when I watched it. I was like, holy shit! Like
And
they
this
just kept paying them off. All right, we'll pay the fine. We'll pay the
because
fine.
they said they had a meeting with them like in a fucking hotel room. And they don't even know what was said or anything.
Yeah, they didn't know what happened. He just went in the room.
He would
and
never
fucking-
agree. He would never agree for that whole time, and then they talked to his ass, and then
he
something just
agreed.
changed his mind. And I said, "Man, that's fucking crazy."
They had some witchcraft on his ass. or
And then the
something.
thing is, they don't go to prison or anything. All they got to do is pay a fine. Like,
Oh yeah,
they already made billions.
The higher up, if you make enough money, you just get to pay off your crime. I mean, you don't even go to jail. I mean, it's the same thing like a lot of doctors. I remember like where I grew up in West Virginia, my dad was a doctor and he was friends with a lot of the ones that really like robbed Medicaid and Social Security and got caught stealing like tens of millions of dollars through fraud. None of them went to prison. They just had to pay a fine back. And they had to pay back a percentage of that. And then they might lose their license for a year or two.
Yeah.
But they could live
Pretty
off that.
much. It just came down to if you got enough fucking nuts to do it, then do it.
That's
because
all.
I mean, if you're willing to like steal $10 million because you know you get to keep 7, well, fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, you know, a lot
And you
of-
don't give a shit about your name in the community because you're like, well, fuck it, I'll just move.
Yeah,
I stole my $7 million. I'm gonna move to a different state.
Still be
Right.
balling, really.
And I mean that just went on and on and on and on.
a lot of crimes, people, are, you know, when you get arrested, they'll tell you a fine up to so much, and usually they give you a minimum. For people like us, they'll give us, you know, minimum fine, restitution fees, you know, court costs and all that. But when you got millionaires, rich people, they're able to pay up that $250,000 court fine that's there for those charges. You know, they're all carry different limitations, but yeah, that, like you said, that's the way too that they pay off the crimes. Like, well, how about if I pay more on my restitution fees and lower my time? You know, and that all it has. But it seems like people with money only get that option.
Well, I mean, if you have enough money, you can get expert witnesses to say anything you want. If you have enough money, you can find an attorney that grew up with your judge. I mean, if you have enough money, there's somebody there that can resolve this issue.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't give a fuck what it was. There's somebody there that can resolve it if you have enough money. And that's what our legal system really is.
See, I like them badass lawyers, like the ones that go all over the country, like the one that's doing all the fucking he did YFN Lucci's the fucking murder trial. He does a lot of the rappers' murder trials.
He's the one that did Meech's trial. You know that
That's-
he's the same.
That's
lawyer
what I'm
that-
saying.
that
Like
Big
I
Meech is.
like lawyers like that. Like I don't like the lawyers that like they just know the judge and they're fucking just making
You know how
deals.
much-
Yeah, like
you know
if
how
you're
much
really
that
a
lawyer
good
costs?
attorney, I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
You know how
like
much
they're
that lawyer
calling
cost them?
they're calling witnesses and shit.
Boozy said that lawyer cost Lucci $300,000.
Yeah, got him off on a murder. That's a good lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the guy that did that, Casey
It's
Anthony.
worth it.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, the chick that
Oh,
killed
man,
her.
but I don't know if
That attorney, I mean, that
he's
was
a bad motherfucker because
like, listen, for 3 years on the news, every day they told you she's guilty, she's guilty,
Yeah.
she's guilty. And that
said,
motherfucker went in there
"Prove
and
it,
convinced
not
the jury
guilty."
she didn't do it.
Yeah.
And everybody knew I mean, they had evidence of her, like, looking up how to smother the kid,
Yeah,
how to get rid of a
that's-
body. I mean, they had the fucking decomposing body in the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
The body was found a mile or two from their house. I mean, everything made her look guilty as fuck. And that dude got her off that.
man, that's crazy. Yeah, that's what's wild.
Now, they did say that when they picked the jury pool, that when they started going through the people and they asked, you know, hey, are you familiar with this case? So many people were familiar that the only ones not familiar was like basically the dumbest fucking people in the room.
God
Like
damn.
that was all was left. It was like you basically are a fucking idiot
Yeah.
that is oblivious to everything. If you hadn't heard of this, and don't have an
Yeah.
opinion.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
the,
'cause
I
it's
saw the
everywhere.
prosecutor get it.
It's everywhere on the news. It was everywhere. So
and
they're
for you
like,
not
what
to
the
have
shit?
any clue of any of this, like
Yeah.
you live in such a bubble. You know what I mean? That,
Fucking old ass people, like real old people, probably like 80 years old.
man, there's some people that I think are just like shut in and they're like involved in their own little things and they just don't have a fucking clue. They don't watch
That's
anything.
fucking
They don't look
wild.
at social media. They don't watch the news. They don't watch nothing.
That shit is insane.
yeah, I don't know. Say you got to know what's going on all the time.
How could you not want to?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, I guess if you're like in some little cult or something somewhere
Yeah.
and you're just talking to each other, you live out in Idaho in the middle of nowhere and you just chit chat amongst yourselves, you know what I'm saying? And you don't watch nothing.
So just imagine how many cults there is out there right now.
Oh, it's crazy, man. Well, like not the Jehovah's Witnesses. but
Oh
the,
shit!
I'm
was
sorry,
gonna
the
say, not-
Scientologists. The first thing they do is take your phone, cut you off from your family. You know what I'm saying? And I think basically that's most cults. I think
take your money.
Isolation is a big, big factor in being in the cult. Because if you're not isolated, you're not going to fall for all that shit.
hell
If you got somebody in your ear going, hey, why'd you just do that?
Hey, what
Man,
happened to Tom
hey,
Cruise?
Why did you? Well, Tom Cruise in that Scientology gets treated like a king.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
don't treat like him and Travolta and all those guys the way they treat the minions, you know. But if you're just one of the regular members, I mean, you're just like, to him or.
Yeah.
I think recently Tom Cruise was trying to get away from Scientology.
But I was about to say, like, don't you not ever? I don't ever hear about him. Like, you know, most like actors and shit, you hear about him like after. I haven't heard news about him in a
Well,
long time.
His life in Scientology and the average person's is different. Like them, they move him to a compound, they give him a job, they totally control him. He's out here making movies and doing whatever the fuck he wants, and probably shows up a few times a year to get his ass kissed at some big assembly.
Probably drops a
You
fat
know.
ass check. Like,
Yeah,
here you go. guys.
yeah. I mean,
They
he
don't
comes
stick
in
it
and
all in
everybody's
place.
cheering him on, and you know, it's
Yeah,
not
it's
the
just
same
fucking
experience
insane.
for being in the cult.
Say, damn. So look, we did about an hour and a half.
Not bad. You know,
Say, look, say that was a good one, guys.
You got anything else you want to talk about,
See.
Dave? Anything else you want to say?
I mean, anything y'all want enlightened on, I got you.
yeah.
He said, "Thank you."
Any conspiracy
you.
theory that you're not clear on is that.
You ain't never getting off the show, buddy.
Hey, look, he said we're never gonna stop now.
He's trying to be professional.
He's about to have his
Okay,
own
so
segment
thanks.
once a week.
Thanks for
Yeah,
Nah, man,
yeah.
I've been into this stuff for like 30 some years. I
Yeah,
really
so-
have. I've always been interested in all this. And the older I get, just the further I am believing it's all bullshit. Everything is controlled. Everything is about money. I mean, that's at the end of the day.
Look, the radio is dead.
That's true.
This is the way right here now.
This is
Radio.
the wave.
Fuck you.
Yeah, the radio
This
is
is
dead.
the
Say, see,
wave.
look, now you got David on here saying he's talking.
Jump on.
The radio is gone. Say nobody listens to that shit.
Like that in the newspaper.
The evening
Newspaper.
news set this up because you had one or two people at each station just telling you what to think. God forbid somebody come on and speak freely and they don't use little snippets of it to.
Yeah.
No, that's why I like doing this though. That's what I was telling them about the news because the news is owned by only a few people, so you see the same shit everywhere. So this is perfect. Like I said, you hear your views, you hear
Who's it
mine,
owned by?
his.
Hey, listen, BlackRock
Who's it owned by?
owns all of it.
Yeah,
I mean, so
that's what I'm saying. So this is a good thing. Say different opinions. Say shit is perfect. This is the perfect thing for me. I like hearing shit. That's why I'd say anybody can come on all the time. Anybody. You could be the dumbest motherfucker.
Any one of y'all's.
They say, "Oh, I ain't stupid." You are.
You stupid.
No, but thank y'all say for watching. This was
Oh, yeah,
the
one
Grind
more
and
thing.
Prosper podcast. So thank you.
Elevated edition, baby.